Anytime you're buying insurance, whether it's medical, car, or home insurance, you pick a plan based on the cost of the insurance and how much you'd have to pay before the insurance takes over. Let's look at our medical plan options and those cost considerations. At Purdue, we give you a choice of 3 medical plans. All of the plans are consumer-driven health plans, or CDHPs. With Purdue CDHPs, you pay all of the cost of medical services until you meet your deductible. After that, you and Purdue share the cost of any medical services until you reach your out-of-pocket maximum. If you meet your out-of-pocket maximum, then your eligible medical costs are completely covered by Purdue. Plus, if you're eligible, you can have a health savings account, or HSA. HSAs allow you to set aside tax-free dollars for medical expenses. And bonus, Purdue contributes too. If you aren't eligible for an HSA, then Purdue will open a health reimbursement arrangement, or HRA, for you and deposit our contribution into your account for your use. Now, how are the plans different? The main difference between the medical plan options is how you're spending your money for healthcare. Do you want to pay more upfront in premiums via payroll deduction? Or are you willing to pay less in premiums and possibly pay more if medical services are needed? To fully understand which plan might be best for you, you have to consider the full cost of your medical plan. First, consider the premium. There's a range of premiums among the plans. While this amount is deducted from your paycheck and you may not immediately think about the cost, it's still part of what you're paying and should be carefully considered. Now, add up the medical cost you generally have in a year. Next, subtract the HSA contribution Purdue makes on your behalf. Remember, all 3 plans come with an HSA, and if you're not eligible for one, then Purdue contributes to an HRA, or health reimbursement arrangement, for you. You can use these contributions to pay for some of your anticipated medical expenses. Let's take a look at some examples and how the costs stack up under the 3 plans. Meet Patricia, a Purdue employee who's in good overall health and only uses a few services a year. Let's look at her expenses and how they compare across plans. First, there are the premiums. Then her out-of-pocket expenses for medical services. She uses Purdue's HSA contribution to help lower her out-of-pocket expenses. As you can see, for someone like Patricia, she would spend the most on the Premier CDHP and the least on the Limited CDHP. However, her total potential costs for the year are the lowest on the Standard CDHP. So, she must decide if the potential savings is worth the risk. But what if Patricia faced more regular health issues and has to seek care on a fairly regular basis? Let's look at the comparison again. Her premiums are the same, but her out-of-pocket expenses are greater. She used the Purdue HSA contribution to again lower her expenses. In this case, the most cost-effective option is the Standard CDHP. It's also important to note that in this scenario, she would hit the out-of-pocket maximum with her total potential costs on all plans and would not pay anything else for the year for eligible medical expenses. Now, let's look at how the plans stack up if Patricia had family coverage. Overall, her family of 4 is healthy and only sees the doctor a few times a year for routine visits. When we add up the premium and out-of-pocket expenses and then factor in the Purdue HSA contribution, the Limited CDHP is the most affordable option. However, the Standard CDHP provides the lowest potential costs. But what if Patricia's family has more complex health issues or chronic conditions that require more frequent visits with providers? Her premium, of course, is the same as before. However, her out-of-pocket expenses are higher. A family like Patricia's will find the most affordable option is the Standard CDHP. The best way to decide which plan makes sense for you is to look at your potential costs over the course of a year, like we've done here. A couple of things to keep in mind. First, a higher premium doesn't necessarily mean better coverage. Likewise, a higher deductible doesn't guarantee you'll spend more for services. And you shouldn't simply pick a plan based on the deductible and out-of-pocket maximum alone. You need to evaluate the premium cost too. Also, consider putting money each pay period into your HSA. Any unused funds roll over year to year and are always yours to keep. Whichever Purdue CDHP you choose, you're receiving great coverage with free preventive care and a wide network of providers.